Appreciate it.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi.
This is Paul Strasser, Mark Paisano.
Hi.
These two fishing boat captains have no idea who they're actually meeting. Her real name is Desiree. When she was 9 years old, she was the only survivor of a family boating accident. After 20 terrifying hours in the frigid water, she was rescued by the young fishermen. 35 years later, the two heroes are being told that the woman joining them for an interview about that fateful day is just a translator.
Let's tell Raquel the story.
The afternoon of May 19th, 1987, we were fishing the backside of Catalina Island.
Before we show you how this wonderful surprise unfolds, let's take a look at the backstory of how the reunion came together in the first place. And that starts with Westminster resident Philip Friedman. He's been telling fish stories for more than 3.5 decades.
So that would go back to 1985 when I started a company called 976 Tuna. That was a phone number you could dial, 310-976-TUNA. And for a couple of bucks, you'd get me telling you where the best fishing was. That was before the internet, obviously, and all the digital craze. So it was the first attempt to reach a broad audience with current fishing information.
Of course, these days, it's all at your fingertips. 976 Tuna is now a website, and Philip has his podcast and YouTube channel.
Let's hit a controversial subject right now.
Here we go again.
A little bit of one.
Yeah.
He's converted an office at 22nd Street Landing into a small studio, a lifelong career that started with his love of fishing.
Catching the fish sometimes is down on the list. Spending time with family members and friends, breathing fresh air, learning about the marine environment. Those are all super important facets to a day on the water.
Mark had actually been a guest on a different show a month earlier when Philip asked the question.
What's some of the craziest things you've ever seen on the water or heard of? Like, I'm sure in Mexico you see some crazy stuff. You ever seen any pongos, or have you ever had to rescue anybody at sea? Or
Numerous.
And that's when Philip first heard the story of Mark and Paul finding a capsized boat, several lifeless bodies in the water, and then Desiree.
We find a 9-year-old girl in a life jacket, alive. She'd been in the water for like 20 hours. I jump in the water, right? I strip down to my underwear, I just jump in the water. I'm swimming right toward her, and I go to reach, and she kind of turns away, and I grab her, and I drag her back to the boat.
The rescue made headlines, and the two received a mayor's commendation, but they never saw Desiree again.
I went to search for a while back, and there's like, I can't tell you how many Desiree in the LA area.
With such a common name, it seemed impossible. But as fate would have it, a friend of Desiree's heard the podcast and put her in touch with Philip. He then came up with the idea to set up a surprise with the two captains, and Desiree agreed to act the part.
Here's the deal, guys. We're going to get this on Spanish TV. We're hoping. And my Spanish is más o menos, more or less, so we got Raquel. So I want you guys to tell her the story, and then she can hear it, and then later on she can translate it.
For about 10 minutes, they tell the story, finding the capsized boat and no signs of life.
So right away, I grabbed the binoculars. After I'm on the Coast Guard, talking to the Coast Guard, going to my position, what I just found, and I have to keep looking, so I can't be on the radio. I put the radio down, I looked, I saw an orange object out in the distance and a brown spot above the orange life jacket.
Somehow Desiree manages to keep her composure, even as they share the picture of Mark reaching the little orange life jacket.
The Coast Guard came out, and they put 2 medics on the boat, and right away we started treating her for hypothermia.
And then it was time for the reveal.
Boys, I want to tell you something, okay? Do you mind if I say something to you? You guys are heroes, right? This is not a translator. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you. Who are you?
I'm Desiree.
Oh my God.
I would say it's 35 years ago.
Oh my God.
Well, you got me on this one.
3 lives united in a wonderful way. Throughout his career, Philip has been bringing together friends and families to share in his passion for fishing. There will be many more fish stories yet to come, but this will remain one of the best ever. Reporting for Slices, this is Valerie Starn.